The mayor-elect of New York is this Zohran Mamdani. He's now telling his followers that he needs $4 million for his transition to the mayor's office. I hope very soon not to have to ask you for money. But until then, I'm asking you to go to the transition2025.com and give whatever you can, because he needs $4 million.
Keep in mind, this is the guy that promised everything for free and then at his victory celebration charged people $15 for a beer.
No, unlike the campaign, transitions do not get public matching funds from the city, so that 8-to-1 match is gone. It's up to us to raise the money. Usually campaigns take that as an opportunity to rely on wealthy donors, but that's not us. No, just give me your $10. I'm not going to try to get it from anybody that actually has any money. He had a press conference at the Unisphere in Queens on November 5th, and he said we need to raise $4 million so that on January 1st can be the day we start to deliver. All right? First, you got to get him the $4 million, though.
What's it going to be used for?
The transition team, he has to vet 50,000 resumes. 50,000 socialists have applied to work for him.
Wow.
All right.
That's a big cabinet.
And he said, we have a team. We have to keep paying our incredible team. And we have to plan not just our inauguration, but our policy implementations. Okay. So there you have it. If you're a fan, I guess you could send them a few bucks because they need $4 million. Now, yesterday, Reavers mentioned a woman. This was off the air, I believe.
Yeah,
at the end of the show, you mentioned a woman named.
Her name is Air Kawas.
Yeah.
Air Kawas. It should be two different emails from me, Joe.
I got it right here.
There we go.
Well, it's funny because Krista out in Maryland, she must have heard us. She must be on the council.
I would guess Krista is, yes.
She said, I took a little time this evening and did a bit of a quick dive into Aber. I guess she goes by Abby.
Okay.
Kawas, the woman that Chris mentioned, is now closely tied to Mr. Mamdani. I'm attaching a few items of note that I thought you could peruse. I've included excerpts from articles in the Chicago Tribune and the Tribune out of San Luis Obispo, California, dated 2013 and 2016. Both articles identify Ms. Kawas as an activist describing her hope to organize with the Arab and Muslim community, and she sent some pictures. One article describes Kawas as the American-born daughter of Palestinian immigrant parents. All right, and then Reavers was selling me on this woman, not selling me, but alerting me to the idea that this is Mamdani's choice to replace him in the New York Assembly for a seat from Queens, which he held.
Yep, he endorsed her for this position.
I have no knowledge about her other than what I'm reading here. She was the Associate Director of Partnerships for CLEAR. That's an acronym. I don't even know what CLEAR is. She's a Palestinian American from Brooklyn after witnessing the effects of unjust war on terror policies targeting close friends and family members. Aber has been organizing with the Arab and Muslim communities around issues with police surveillance, racial profiling, and immigrant rights. She was a New York City advocacy specialist with the campaign to take on hate under the National Network of Arab American Communities. Before that, she served as advocacy director at the Arab American Association. And then there's a piece, you sent me a piece about her that was in the Daily Mail.
Yes, sir.
Where everything you read in the Daily Mail is the absolute truth.
On that, is it Kawas? Is that where we're going with?
I'm going with Kawas.
Kawas. She holds a master's in Islamic liberation theology from a university in South Africa and connects the attacks on 9/11 to the American system, which you will hear from her in just a moment. As soon
You
as
think she gets back there for homecoming? They got a football team?
Yeah, right.
It turns out that Zohran Mamdani is backing her for his replacement in the New York State Assembly. She once said white supremacy was to blame for the attacks on September 11, 2001. Yep. She only moved to the district she now wishes to represent. She only moved there last year. And she wants Mamdani's seat, and he's backing her. The mayor-elect's endorsement has gained the 34-year-old newfound attention on some of her more extreme opinions, including one dug up from an Asian American writers' workshop in 2017. She connects the attacks of 9/11. She's blaming America for them.
Yep.
White supremacy, capitalism, racism, Islamophobia. She believes that all have been used to colonize. So she would be an example of a Mysterian who doesn't like this country, doesn't like its founding, and wishes for a new country.
And why did you come here?
That's who Well, she was born here, man.
Oh, then why did people that you know come?
She added that a lot of times when people are asking us to respond about, an attack, when if you took back historically a lot of, she doesn't even make sense.
Would you like? Well, I could play that clip if you want.
I'd like to hear her.
Okay, here we go.
And so, and finding that, the system of capitalism and racism and white supremacy, etc., and Islamophobia have all been used, to colonize lands, right, to take resources from other people. And so this is a long trajectory. And we're just seeing the manifestations of that continuation, right, with 9/11. And so a lot of times when people are asking us to respond about, attack, right, if you look back, historically, right, a lot of us come from lands that were colonized, lands where wars are being waged, right? And a lot of times because of U.S. policy or the policies in Europe. And so I find that we can connect over that, but then also that the idea that we have to apologize for a terror attack that a couple of people did, and then there is no apologies or reparations for genocides and for slavery, etc., is something that I kind of find reprehensible.
She's about 1 degree of speaking ability better than the Miss Teenage Universe contestant from North Carolina.
I counted 6 likes and 4 et cetera.
It's a very poor community.
Ilhan sound alike. They talk the same way. They have that disjointed, idiotic sounding way of speaking. Anybody with half a brain could challenge her and debate her and shut her down. I mean, everything she said was based on in stupidity.
No, everything she said. Well, I can't even blame the failed academy because she went to a failed academy in Africa.
Well, she's an idiot, Joe.
Right. But she'll probably get elected.
Yeah, and the fact that she's made it this far is really shocking and disappointing.
Well, we live in some really strange times. How do you attack Mamdani for supporting this young fool when the President of the United States throws a state dinner for an Arab thug who murdered the journalist Khashoggi? And about the murder of Khashoggi, Trump said, well, things happen. Well, how's that different than Ilhan Omar saying some people did things? Well, there is one difference. Khashoggi was 1 death and 9/11 was 3,000. There is that difference. But things are so mixed up right now and so topsy-turvy and swirling around that it wouldn't surprise me that if you went after Mamdani for his support of this young, not very bright woman, that he'd say, what about the president hosting a state dinner for this Arab prince?
I don't have an answer.
Yeah, it doesn't have a good, clean.
Well, he wouldn't because the guy was Arab, and they would.
He's a Muslim,
right? So he wouldn't do that.
Well, my
that
point
doesn't fit his narrative, Joe.
my point is, Trump is rubbing elbows with bad guys, just as Ilhan Omar does, and this woman thinks that because you're white, you're a bad guy. So we're in a real mixed up time in life. Now, Trump, you can always understand his reasoning. It's all money. This guy apparently vowed to spend $1 trillion in America. So that's Trump's excuse for palling him around and throwing him a state dinner. I'm sure it was in a tent because, as you know, the White House is inadequate for state dinners. We have to build a new casino in the back.
Can I attempt to answer your question?
Yeah.
About the difference?
Yeah.
Is it as easy to say that I think at least Trump has conventional America in mind, and I do not think the likes of Mamdani and Ilhan do?
Trump has his conventional America in mind, which might be a bit different than the average American's conventional America.
How does it differ from your own?
He is basically a player who wants to get what he can for him and his family, and if that means palling up to enemies, he would do so.
So you don't believe that he is actually trying to make America better?
I believe he's trying to make Trump better.
Huh. I disagree with you.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. You're dragging. We're all getting dragged off topic. I just wanted to bring that up as the argument from the left on us finding Mamdani at fault for backing this woman. The argument on the left would be, because you're playing, well, whataboutism now. They would say, what about Trump hosting this Arab prince who killed someone who wasn't loyal to the Emirates? That's where we are, is what I'm saying.
Sure.
Yeah, but you're missing our point. He's not going to say that.
No, I said
the
that's
likes
what
of you are going to
I
say
said
that.
That's what the left would say. They'd say you're ripping Mamdani for endorsing this not very wise woman. What about Trump hosting the Arab prince for a state dinner when he's been found by our own CIA to have murdered American journalists?
And chopped him up and promoted. Yeah.
And I said, I don't want to do that right now.
Okay.
I said, we live in strange times. I don't know how to. Now, does Trump want a better America? That's a tough one because he's so.
I think it's easy, actually. I think he does. I think you're letting your
well, and he wants
dislike of him
ABC's.
getting
It's not. I'm looking at facts. He wants ABC's license taken away because some woman asked him a question about.
Was that when he called her Piggy?
That was a different one. He called some other woman Piggy. He's just not a developed human being. He's a strange cat, very strange cat. But we had no choice a year ago. We had no choice.
But not to call somebody that asks the wrong question, hey, knock it off, Piggy,
or the other one who's, I'm going to take. We should look into getting your license taken away.
If you think it's bad now, how bad do you think it would be if Kamala was president?
I said we had no choice in 2020.
Yeah, it would be
no choice whatsoever.
2024.
Or 2024.
It'd be a
We had
lot
no
worse.
choice because Kamala Harris would be. Oh, it's unthinkable. She's
So
unthinkable.
here we are again bitching about the situation, but we're not offering any solutions.
No, I'm not really even bitching about the situation. I'm pointing out how difficult it is.
Well, then I'll just ask, what is the solution?
Because I remember leading up to the election, I think we were all on board saying Trump's the only thing standing in the way of the full takeover of the mystery in this country.
Let's move past that. How do we fix where we're at now?
I don't see a single politician in Washington who would rescue this country by being Abraham Lincoln.
Bingo.
Ask.
Yep.
I don't see
Right.
one.
Exactly.
I don't
We
see
all
one.
agree on that, at least on the show.
I believe we've allowed ourselves to be just manipulated by the crowd in Washington. They're
Absolutely.
worthless to us.
You don't think Pelosi, Schumer,
No.
McConnell?
I don't think. I think they're all bad. I don't
Yep.
trust any of them.
Thank you.
They all want that. And the reason they want this so badly is because they love living on the third rail. They have nothing to do with our lives. Nothing.
And there's nothing better for them than to have us bickering about them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Keep us asking the wrong questions and keep us pissing and moaning about anything other than their terms and how long they're in office and them. And you're right; they all need to go. We need to start over, and it's just not going to happen. Not without a major civil war. And would it even be a civil war? Would it be one side fighting the other? I don't think so. It's not as black and white as that.
The question I've always wondered about the Civil War is, who am I supposed to shoot at?
Right.
I have no idea.
And are the people in the government expecting the National Guard to shoot their own people?
Well, there's been precedent.
Unfortunately, yeah.
4 days in Ohio.
But is Jimmy from Alexandria, who's in the Guard, going to go back to Alexandria in full uniform and gear and start shooting at his neighbors?
No, I am pleased that Trump, he won't meet with Mamdani. Basically, that's Trump just saying, the hell with this guy. That's fine with me. I don't care if he meets with Mamdani. And back to this woman, Kawas. I find her abhorrent, deplorable. I'd say go back to where you came from, but she came from America. So, and she heard at the kitchen table growing up nothing but how badly she and her family have been oppressed and victimized by the white devil. And now here she is, and wants what? How can she possibly represent America?
It's just so remarkable to me that somebody in New York could say that, surrounded by so many people that suffered the attacks on 9/11. You know what I mean? Everybody in New York knows somebody that was personally affected.
It doesn't seem to bother Ilhan Omar.
Not at all. Not at all.